guys here at Roma Termini, about to go on a day trip to Bologna. I think when people think of taking day trips from Rome, it's usually not to Bologna, but it is a wonderful place to visit. Bologna is only 2 hours away from Rome by train, and there is a wealth of things to see and do there. First of all, there's the architecture and its gorgeous porticos, which are actually a World Heritage Site. Second of all, there is the food. Bologna is one of the eating capitals of Italy, if not the world. Third, I don't think people realize how much art there is you can see in the museums and churches of Bologna. On today's video, I'm going to be combining some footage from today's visit, but also other visits I've done, because there is so much you can see and do in Bologna. I'm going to give you lots of choices. In fact, if you want, you could take all of my suggestions and turn this into a multi-day trip to Bologna. In the description below, I've got a link to a map that has all the places that I'm sharing with you today. All right, let's go grab the train and head to Bologna. So it's a little bit of a challenge when you get here to Bologna Centrale station. Our train arrived 5 stories down from street level. All you have to do is just look for the escalators, keep taking the escalators, go up and up and up until you see daylight. Just look for the signs for city center and exit. There are a couple of different places where you could exit the station, but I recommend looking for Piazza Medaglia d'Oro. It's just a good spot where you can orient yourself to walk into the city center. It's a kind of rainy, gray, cool day in early May. So I'm wearing super comfortable walking shoes, gonna do a lot of walking in Bologna. I've got jeans on, a t-shirt, a cardigan, and a lightweight scarf. Like most cities in Italy, Bologna has plenty of Roman ruins if you know where to look. So we just had a fabulous breakfast at Allegra, and now we are headed to a food market. Actually, I am here in Bologna with my good friends Eleonora Baldwin and Gina Tringali of Casa Mia Tours. And one of the things you can do to really enjoy Bologna to its fullest when you come is to take one of their food tours or cooking classes. Anyway, gonna enjoy the rest of the day with Gina and Eleonora. You'll see them in the video, so let's keep going. All right, so we are headed now to Mercato delle Erbe, one of the best food markets here in Bologna. Not the only one, but let's go see what there is to see. Okay, now Eleonora and Gina have brought me over here to this shop. So we decided to come here to Mercato delle Erbe, I think because Gina wanted to say hi to her friends here at Le Sfogline. These are these women making these incredible pastas, and the aroma alone is worth going in for.
Grazie mille.
This is my favorite cheese shop here in Mercato delle Erbe. The smell alone right here just makes I just want to eat everything in this shop. So this is so funny. I brought Gina and Eleonora here because I know this cheese shop is one of the best in Bologna. In fact, when we got here, there was a huge line. But anyway, so we go in, and the guy, the cheese shop owner, he recognizes Eleonora because she has a show on Gambero Rosso TV here in Italy, because she is a cheese expert.
In Emilia-Romagna, we all think of Parmigiano and sometimes Squacquerone. Nobody talks about Formaggio di Fossa. These are pit-aged cheeses. They're put in 6 feet in the ground,
Prego, please.
buried in special pits that are then cemented over. And
What you
4 months later, the cheeses are reborn, and they have a completely, they
what you like
age
is
in
soft,
anaerobic
no flavor.
environment.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So good.
That is
Mmm.
And
oh, wait. It's possible that
so
you can
August,
back
September,
from your
October,
father
November,
time.
3-month-old,
Wow.
but it doesn't taste aged, just spicy and
Yeah. Oh my God. So good. Mmm. Wow. So we got a little bit carried away in here. We started tasting cheeses and talking to them, which I knew would happen. And this is just part of the fun, is sort of not having a plan or maybe adjusting your plans depending on what happens during a given day trip. So we had these plans to go see a lot of things this morning, but we're already getting close to lunchtime. So we're going to leave here, make our way across Piazza Maggiore, and see a few other things on our way to lunch.
Cheese!
Cheese! So these porticos are actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, all the porticos of Bologna. So Bologna actually used to have a lot of canals, and you wouldn't really know it, but you can see some places if you look hard. And right behind me is the famous finestrella, which means little window. Take a look. Now we are going to a pharmacy that Eleonora loves. She has some stuff that she loves to get here, so I'm going to let her explain why she loves this pharmacy and all the cool things there are to get here. So,
really good skincare products that they make with natural ingredients. And so they have really good toothpastes. They have a powder that's like a drying powder. It's not talcum. And then my moisturizer with SPF. And then they have a beautiful like scrub face washer thing. So yeah.
So today I'm walking around in lots of different places, and it's something of a maze. I don't expect you to follow this specific route that I'm showing you. I'm just trying to share with you a little bit about what the streets are like, what the porticos are like, a little bit of the architecture, etc. As I said, in the description below, I'm going to put a map where I share all of the locations that I'm showing you on this trip, but also on the many trips that I've taken to Bologna over the years from Rome, both as day trips and as overnights. I realize you may want me to tell you exactly where to go on a day trip to Bologna, but the thing is that different things work for different people. You can probably see as I'm walking that there are a lot of great shops and restaurants everywhere I go, so it's a city that you can just come and wander around and enjoy this beautiful ambiance and just stop and find some place to eat and plunk yourself down. So when Michelangelo was a young man, he stopped in Bologna on one of his escapes from Florence, shall we say, and he met with a wealthy nobleman by the name of Aldrovandi. He stayed here for about a year, and during that time, this nobleman commissioned Michelangelo to finish some of the sculptures on the altar of San Domenico. And when you see these tiny little sculptures by Michelangelo, you can clearly see the talent that Michelangelo had even at a young age. And you can kind of see that they are precursors to some of the masterpieces he would later create. So one of my favorite things to do in Bologna is to visit this beautiful piazza called Piazza delle Chiese, which means the 7 churches, which is what you see behind me. These are 7 churches. They're all connected. They're completely free to visit. And you just go inside and follow the route and it'll take you to all 7 of these churches. There is a lot to see inside. The piazza itself is worth visiting. It's just so beautiful here. It's really a big, wide square. It's not really a square, it's sort of a trapezoid, but if you do get here when the Sette Chiese, when the churches are open, I highly recommend going inside. It'll only take about 10 or 15 minutes to walk through, but it can take longer if you're really interested in the history and learning a little bit more about this site. So this cute little street that comes off of the piazza with the Sette Chiese, Via di Santo Stefano, is definitely one of the most charming streets in Bologna. It's really small, but it's a really sweet street to walk through. So as I've been walking around Bologna and taking some video for you, you might have noticed these towers that are looming over Bologna. The taller of the 2, the Asinelli Tower, is probably Bologna's most famous tower. In the Middle Ages, Bologna was full of these towers. People built towers to show how wealthy they were, and there were hundreds of them. Today, there are fewer than 20. Some years ago, it was possible to climb the Asinelli Tower, and I did. It's currently being restored, so it's not possible to climb it, but it's still a pretty amazing thing to see when you're walking around a city like this and you just look up and there's this tower, and it is kind of leaning. So I'm not even sure how safe it would be to climb it right now, so I guess on some level I'm glad that they have closed it to restore it. So Bologna is a city of bicycles, as you can see from all the bicycles here, and you might have seen them riding past me or next to me as I walk around. Sometimes it's a little bit treacherous, so you have to be aware of the bicycles. You know what a fan I am of Michelangelo, so one of the things I love to do in Bologna is to trace Michelangelo's steps when he was here as a young man. Here in Piazza Maggiore, we have the famous Basilica of San Petronio, the patron saint of Bologna. When Michelangelo was a young man, he fled Florence a few times because things were not always very stable there. And one of the times that he left Florence, he came here to Bologna and he spent some time here. The basilica is unfinished because the Pope at the time was afraid that this basilica would eclipse St. Peter's, so he put a stop to the works. So on the doorway of the Basilica of San Petronio, Jacopo della Quercia carved scenes from the Bible, from Genesis. And it's really clear if we look at these scenes that Jacopo della Quercia did, which Michelangelo saw as a young man, that Michelangelo took inspiration from these scenes for some of the scenes that he painted on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. In this piazza, I also recommend visiting City Hall. There's a ramp that was designed by Bramante, and if you go up to the second level, the rooms up there are absolutely stunning, and you have beautiful views of this square where I'm standing. And while you cannot climb the Asinelli Tower, you can climb the clock tower. So that's a fairly recent thing that they've added here in Bologna, something you can do if you want to get some bird's eye views of the city and this piazza. Also just behind me is the Archiginnasio. It's a library. It's part of Bologna's university. The University of Bologna is the oldest university in the world. It was founded in the year 1088. Yes, there were universities founded earlier than that, but this is the oldest continuously functioning university in the world. Bologna also has some amazing museums. You can visit the History of Bologna Museum, which I really recommend. It's an easy visit, it doesn't take too long, and you get a good sense of the history, the founding of Bologna. Many famous artists are from here, like Guido Reni and Guercino, and you can see some amazing art by them in the churches, but also in the Pinacoteca of Bologna. Now, if you come to Bologna on a day trip, you can decide to fit in a little bit of food, maybe visit this basilica, visit City Hall, and then head back. Or you can head over to the Quadrilatero, which is right on the other side of me, and just wander around and enjoy that food scene. Or if you're an art lover like me, you can head over to the Basilica of San Domenico and check out the Michelangelo sculptures. There are so many options for things to do here in Bologna. And you could of course decide to stay longer. Bologna is worth visiting for longer than just one day. But if you just have a day trip, if you want to do something interesting, unusual, and different as a day trip from Rome, I highly recommend coming to Bologna. We have a 6 o'clock train. We're going to head back to Rome. We'll get there at about 8:15, just in time for a late dinner, if we even eat dinner after such a big lunch. And it has been a wonderful day and fairly relaxing considering how much we have fit in. One last thing, let's take a look at the Neptune sculpture. I think it's Bologna's most famous landmark. So what do you guys think? Would you visit Bologna on a day trip from Rome? I hope I've given you lots of great ideas for things to see and do. And for more ideas for wonderful day trips from Rome, don't miss my playlist right here.